biblical Christianity. And that's the whole Bible, breadth of tenderness, drawing love, and the full gospel, which I think many people over the years have come to prize. This is the testimony of the Free Presbyterian Church, and blessed by the Holy Spirit, I believe it's still the hope for the salvation of every individual.
Are you completely convinced that you are in the right church, and that if you'd been born into another church, you would have left it to join this one?
I value very much the privileges which I received from a very devoted upbringing. If I had been brought up in some other way, I have no doubt that that would have affected me. And therefore, all I can tell you is that I feel as committed to the Christian principles, the principles of biblical Christianity, as they are enshrined in the testimony of the Free Presbyterian Church today as ever I have been.
The interpretation of the Bible would be said by some to be quite strict. It affects behavior and dress and demands rigid observance of the Sabbath. The Free Presbyterians adhere literally to the word of the Bible.
Well, we would regard it inappropriate that any woman member in our church would be walking along the street in man's clothing. We would regard a woman as under the obligation of wearing her hair long. We believe that the Bible requires that. We would require of all men that they would sever their connection with any Masonic lodge that they might have been members of. Immediately they became members in our church, and we would do our utmost to deter any from joining.
Is this church an anachronism in the 20th century? A synod statement of 1962 listed a set of rules, among other things. No church-connected Boy Scouts, Girl Guides, or Boys Brigade. No ministers making immortal memory speeches at Burns suppers. No membership of the Women's Rural Institute. No observance of Christmas or Easter, and no use of Sunday public transport. What does the Lord Chancellor think of these strictures?
General practice of the Free Presbyterian Church of Scotland is that the Lord's Day is for worship, for the exercises of worship, public and private, and that it is appropriate that it be used for that purpose.
Do you read Sunday papers?
No.
Not even on Monday?
No, I don't normally do that. If on Monday there was some question about some matter that had affected me, I might have to do so, but it doesn't occur as a matter of course.
Do you read Monday papers even though they're produced on a Sunday?
Well, this is a difficult matter. As a matter of fact, I read Monday's papers, which may be produced on a Sunday for all I know. I think that it's difficult in the complexities of modern life, in which we all have to live, to be utterly logical and loyal to one's convictions all the time. But this has been my practice.
I have no doubt that he is completely genuine in his Sabbatarian beliefs, but he might well be Lord Chancellor at a time when legislation goes through which liberalises Sunday trading. There are a whole range of issues on which he is going to have to square his conscience with his intellect.
Who is this man caught in the centre of entrenched religious controversy?
James Peter Hymers Mackay was born in Edinburgh on the 2nd of July 1927 and was educated at George Heriot's School. His father was a railwayman from the far north of Scotland, and he spent much of his boyhood there.
I feel very Highland. My mother's brother lost his wife just shortly after I was born, and he had a number of children, and we spent a lot of our time up there trying to help him running a small place that he had up in Caithness. My father belonged to and was born in Clashfern, and my parents' attitudes were from the Highlands, I would say.
His first degree was in maths, which he taught at St Andrews University before taking up a major scholarship at Cambridge. At 25, he took a law degree with distinction at Edinburgh, and in the same year he joined the Faculty of Advocates, the Scottish Bar. Until Mrs Thatcher's election, James Mackay was unknown to most Scots, let alone people in England, but his fortunes were to change dramatically. Mrs Thatcher needed a brilliant lawyer to act as Lord Advocate, Scotland's senior law officer, and she looked no further than the Dean of the Faculty.
I was going home from the High Court in Glasgow to the accommodation where I was then living, and walked up on a beautiful sunny evening the pedestrian precinct in Argyle Street. As I walked along, I passed two gentlemen sitting on a seat. I was a little distance from them when the younger of the two got up, came over to me slightly and said, "Lord Mackay," as if to attract my attention. "Yes," I said, turned slightly, came over to himself and his companion. The older man, still on the seat, said to me, "We see you got a wee bit of promotion." We were all very pleased. I do not know the precise constituency for which he spoke, but from his general appearance and the warmth of his manner, I think it would be fair to infer that he spoke for a very large section of your community.
Then, in October 1987, the Prime Minister asked Lord Mackay to be the new Lord Chancellor. He accepted. It was the first time that a Scot who had never been to the English bar had been asked to become the head of the English judiciary. In this new position, with its constant criticism and demands, will his faith be able to sustain him?
Well, I've not been in it very long, but I have, I believe, been sustained by my faith and also by the prayers of well-wishers who, over a large area of the United Kingdom and from a large variety of different denominational sources, have pledged their prayerful support to me in letters on my appointment and subsequently. I received a great deal of warm-hearted support from Glasgow and the west of Scotland. One of these came from a pool parlour in the neighbourhood of Glasgow Cross. It read, "Good luck, sir, in your new job. You'll need it." From the Glasgow boys. And it finished with this quote, "I like porridge, but I like it in my own house."
The fact of being the first Scottish Lord Chancellor never to have gone to the English bar was overshadowed by general agreement that he was quite simply the best man for the job.
Lord, I am personally delighted to see an identifiable Scotsman on the woolsack.
But the irony of the situation did not go unnoticed.
I think it's an interesting fact, with the contemporary Scottish paranoia, to imagine if the Prime Minister had appointed, say, Lord Scarman as the Lord Justice General of Scotland, there would have been a revolution.
I would like to say that it is a great honour for me and I believe also a fitting honour for Scotland that at this time this office has come to me.